everybody. Coming at you again from the yard. In fact, I'm sitting in the middle of like a garden bed. Got some tomatoes growing behind us. And she thinks she's gonna get a treat, but I'm all out. Go get Daddy. Daddy's mowing. Okay, let's get busy. Chapter 37 of The Collector. Even though it was light out, it was still too early to be awake. I sat on the floor by the bed, curled up in a blanket, watching the closed windows and waiting. Waiting for Beryl to claw her way to us, waiting for my nightmare to become reality and dolls to swarm in, waiting and wondering what was going on. Wondering if Vanessa was okay, if any of us would be okay. By the time my alarm went off, I thought I was going to go mad. Anna woke up when the alarm rang. I turned to her and was going to ask if she'd had any dreams, but before I had a chance, she leaped out of the bed and ran from the room. She refused to talk to me for the rest of the morning, and I had no idea why. Was it about the doll? About waking up in the middle of the night? Did she even remember? If it was, why wouldn't she say so? There was plenty of moments when Mom wasn't around, but she avoided me completely. It made me confused and sad, but I had other things to worry about now that we'd made it through the night and school was approaching. Like, what was I going to say to Vanessa? And where the doll I had thrown out the window had gone. When I looked outside at breakfast, there was no porcelain dust on the sidewalk, no broken doll parts. The sidewalk was clean. It was like the doll never existed. What was going on? Even though Vanessa said she'd see me at school, even though she sounded okay on the phone, I didn't quite believe it. I knew in my heart that she was being held captive, that Beryl would never let her go. Because what was the other option? That had made all of that up? The thought scared me more than the events last night had. What if I was becoming like Grandma? What if I couldn't tell fantasy from reality anymore? Which was why, when I saw Vanessa waiting for me outside the school, I felt a rush of relief and dread. Now I would find out the truth. "Hey," I said when I got close. "Hey," she said, and held up a bag of cookies. Trying to move out of that light. There we go. "Chocolate chip. I made these for you as an apology." I handed her her overnight bag. She exchanged it for the cookies. "I shouldn't have run off like that," she said. "I was a bad friend. I hope you'll forgive me." I looked around. No one was listening in, but that didn't keep me from lowering my voice. "I went to your house." If I hadn't been watching her so closely, I might not have noticed her eyes going wide right before she regained composure. "Why would you do that?" I didn't want to tell her I was angry with Grandma or that I'd been thinking of running away. "I was worried about you." She looked at her feet. "I'm okay, but I appreciate how much you care." She paused. "If you came to my house, why didn't you knock?" I looked around again. "I heard something," I whispered. "What?" I heard you crying. You were crying and someone was talking to you, someone scary. I thought maybe you were being held hostage." She didn't answer for a while. Kids walked past, talking and laughing and looking at us sideways, but I barely noticed them. It felt like everything in my world rested on her answer. "There was no one with me last night," she finally said. "Just me and Aunt Tilda." She chuckled and finally looked at me. "Really, Josie, you're letting your imagination get the best of you." Her smile said it was okay, that she just thought it was funny. But I knew the look in her eyes. She was scared. Chapter 38. Vanessa may have shown up to school that day, but after the first class, I learned that someone else hadn't. We were in history, and once more the principal came in. "Class?" she asked. "I'm afraid I'm here to ask you again if any of you have seen one of your classmates. Charlie Bean did not show up for class today, even though his parents said he left their house. Have any of you heard from him? The silence in the room was heavy. Principal Overton asked a few more questions, but no one had seen or heard from Charlie today, and Charlie hadn't told anyone he'd be missing classes. Well, she concluded, looking very sad, I'm going to be calling your families this afternoon. We will have cops patrolling the school grounds, and until we have more information, all students will be required to get rides to and from school, either from their families or the bus. Don't go anywhere alone, not until we have found Charlie and Karen. And please report any strangers to an adult. We must watch out for each other right now. It wasn't until she left that I realized I'd been holding my breath. Last night, I'd heard Vanessa begging Beryl not to have her bring another. Now, I knew what she meant. Beryl had wanted a child, and Vanessa had been forced to bring one to her. Oh my gosh, Charlie. That is the end of chapter 38. And tomorrow, I'll start chapter 39, page 185. We got to get to the bottom of this. 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, and a short 45. We've almost made it. We must find out what happened. See you next time.